No. What? I suppose, of course...
A lot of female voters who you might not have imagined would vote for Trump because of perhaps his locker room talk or whatever were voting for him anyway, and they loved him. Why? Because he was this strong, masculine figure who projected strength and maybe a little machismo versus the previous president who was, you know, limp-wristed and useless and never inspired. There were no women fainting in the aisles or you know, lightheaded on the chaise longue for Obama towards the end.
I wish I could have half of that, but this doesn't look vegan, and I'm trying to be vegan.
You're a vegan?
It's really hard because I don't know if I told you I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay.
And cheese was like one of my favorite things.
See, that looks pretty good. That's a little rare, medium rare.
Yeah.
Is
got
this
some nice dead animal, dead cow hanging on your fork?
Is this bad that I'm eating meat?
If you go hunting, that's a totally different story, right? The blood's on your hands. Right now, you're kind of just enjoying the benefit, and the blood's on someone else's hands, and that's not very fair.
What if they want to hunt meat, or what if they want to raise cattle?
Oh, totally. But the idea of killing and taking a life, that we should really deeply consider what that means for us as human beings. You know, people have said you should judge a society by how it treats their animals. And we, you know, it'd be great if we had universal health care for our animals.
Universal health care for animals, that could be expensive.
We can afford it, look.
Really? Because we're $20 trillion in debt. What about when an Antifa member stabbed a police horse in the neck with a knife? Was the horse a racist Trump supporter?
Yes. So the horse...
I didn't know horses could vote.
So there isn't a single Islamic country or Islamic leader that gets it right. You, on the other hand, have it right.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
You hold the key to a virtuous version of Islam that none of us have ever heard of.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
No Muslim country operates
to
according to. But so if we were to give you like the keys to an empty country, you would be able to create a version of Islam that doesn't oppress women and murder homosexuals.
Well, I would. We can slap each other back and forth, but if we're going to keep addressing the negative of what
I'm not going to slap you.
Muslims,
that's a left thing.
Muslims like me that keep saying that's wrong.
I don't use violence.
Muslims
That's
like
your
me
people.
Muslims like.
What do you think about the travel ban? What do you think about the travel ban?
I think they ought to ban you.
Why? I'm an American citizen.
Well,
hey, do you realize that the countries... Do you realize... So you'd be gone.
You never heard anything about Donald Trump being racist until he ran for president and won. Before then, everybody was like, oh, he's on WWE, he on different shows. Everybody, they like Donald Trump. As soon as he ran for president, because people don't like the truth. I feel people shy away from realness. This man didn't do nothing. Hey, listen, if y'all didn't want the man in the White House, y'all should have voted the other way. He ain't like he went and robbed. He done his homework. He done what he had to do, and he got there. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I don't know why everybody keep and keep picking it and holding, you know what I'm saying? They walking and walking hard. Protesting. We don't want this to happen. My man, all that time you spending protesting, you could be at home writing down ideas, coming up with a business. You meet people that comes from other countries and be like, oh, I love my country. I love this. I said, if you love your country so much, why you here? You taking up space for other people. We got some other Americans that'll love your job.
So the fault of the war.
So let me ask you this. Do you know who's taking money from Big Pharma?
Hillary! Everybody!
Wrong! Donald Trump has taken $0 from Big Pharma. I stepped you on that one. Do you have anything else? Great comment. She's undefeated. Who's next?
Celebrate so many dudes that we're running out of dudes to celebrate.
Say the same people who celebrated giving a man the Woman of the Year award.
Dealt with a best friend getting killed, and it was two 35-year-old black men. You know, and wasn't no police officer involved, wasn't anybody else involved, and I didn't hear anybody shouting Black Lives Matter then. And I think that's the point we need to get to, is that we need to deal with our own internal issues before we move forward and start pointing fingers and start attacking other people. We need to solidify ourselves as a people and deal with our issues, because I think as long as we have black on black crime and black, you know, one black man killing another, you know, if Black Lives Matter, then they should matter all the time. You know, you should never let somebody get killed. That's somebody's son, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's friend. So you should always keep that in mind. And
why should President Trump be impeached?
Because he has committed crime of treason against our country.
What crime?
He has obstructed justice. He has sold the soul of this country.
What justice did he obstruct?
He obstructed the justice by firing James Comey, who is investigating.
You know the Democrats called for his firing before he got fired?
He is obstructing justice.
You know that even the news networks admitted that it's a nothing burger and fake news?
It is not a nothing burger. It is not fake.
So why haven't we found anything for 7 months?
We have found stuff, but
what?
It is still being investigated.
What have we found?
We have found that his minions have sold their souls to foreign countries like Russia and Turkey.
You mean like John Podesta stock deals?
General
Hillary Clinton Uranium One deal?
Flynn, Manafort, Carter Page.
All those investigations have been dropped.
They have not been dropped. You are.
Carter Page is still ongoing. That's it.
You're deluding yourselves, and I want my $1,000 now.
You didn't tell me why Trump should be impeached.
I certainly did.
Obstructing justice of a fake case. Does anyone think she deserves $1,000?
What process is currently afforded an American citizen before they go on that list?
I'm sorry. There's not a process afforded the citizen prior to getting on the list. There is a process should someone feel they are unduly placed on the list.
Yes, there is. And when I say process, I'm actually using half of the term due process, which is a phrase we find in the Constitution, that you cannot deprive people of certain things without due process. So I understand Mr. Good's idea, which is wait until your right has been taken from you, and then you can petition the government to get it back. I understand that that's his idea. My question is, can you name another constitutional right that we have that is chilled until you find out it's chilled, and then you have to petition the government to get it back? Is that true with the First Amendment?
Sir, there are strict criteria before.
That's not my question, ma'am. That is not my question. My question is, what process is afforded a United States citizen before that person's constitutional right is infringed? Then he's fine with doing it with the Second Amendment. My question is, how about the First? How about we not let them set up a website or a Google account? How about we not let them join the church until they can petition government to get off the list? How about not get a lawyer? How about the Sixth Amendment? How about you can't get a lawyer until you petition the government to get off the list? Or my favorite, how about the Eighth Amendment? We're going to subject you to cruel and unusual punishment until you petition the government to get off the list. Is there another constitutional right that we treat the same way for American citizens that we do the Second Amendment? Can you think of one? Can you think of one?
I don't have an answer for you, sir.
If you are a socialist and you care about working people, but you also hate Trump, how do you square the fact that the majority of private sector union members, the very people you exist to help and stand up for, voted for Trump?
From my point of view, what we need is anti-corporate candidates, anti-racist candididates, anti-sexist candidates that put forward not a message of division, but a message of unity based on the 99% opposing our common enemy, which we in social students see as the 1%.
But wait a second. Who did the 1% support in this election? Who did every CEO, the entire tech community, all of finance, all of them were against Trump? And by the way, who's in favor of the mass immigration that you claim to support? It's businesses, because they want cheaper labor. They don't want immigrants to come in to make America more diverse. They want them to come in and work for cheap wages. Do you see the connection at all? And why you're abetting that?
Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes. I came out here, wanted to tell some jokes. Let's do some reality checks here. Do you have any idea, sir, how pathetic it must be to be you? These people wanted to come out and have a good time, hear a few jokes, some thoughtful discussion, but your head pops off the pillow in the morning with, oh, how can I be a professional victim today? Let me go in and screw with their act just because, oh my God, your parents didn't tell you that your opinion wasn't worth that much. Look, they're confused. They're confused. You know why? Because I'm not your gender studies professor who has to cater to your trigger warning, microaggression, safe space bullshit.
This is a super long pause. Three things that you guys don't like about Trump. Come on.
He's a racist.
How's he racist? How's he racist? How's he racist? You're accusing him of being racist. This time I didn't even ask.
Sweetheart, listen. If he wants to build a wall, that's racism.
How?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm a Latina and I agree. They should build a wall. This is getting out of control. You know what I say? I say those illegal kids that get to have Medicare, and my daughter-in-law cannot qualify for it. She has to work her ass off.
I'm second generation.
I feel like it.
I'm second generation Mexican. My grandma came here legally. She went through the due process. That's fine. He just doesn't want illegal.
I'm standing right here. That's right. So am I.
Just like the things he says about women and like the racism.
Like what?
Too many. Yeah.
Are you working with a group? You've got a UAW sign right there.
Donald Trump has accused me of whatever. No, I do not. Yes, I am union. Union is standing.
Or 150 million people. Most women are happier at home. They are pretending that they like working, and they're not making money because they don't stay all night at the office. They don't go the extra mile. They don't work all weekend. You're making a mistake. You would be much happier at home with a husband and children.
Oh boy. Oh.
I mean, I'm literally.
You just said you're single. You don't have a boyfriend. You're what?
That's
you're
my
celibate.
choice.
Yeah. Look, you're miserable. You would be so much happier with kids around you tonight. Imagine coming home. Mommy's home.
You're just, you know what, Gavin?
You know, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I do wonder sometimes if you guys all get off in a little club and learn a brand new mantra and then all repeat it mindlessly. The fact is, these kind of things were said about Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan's tax cut, which was developed by Jack Kemp, who Paul Ryan worked for. Ronald Reagan's tax cut raised more people to middle-class status, took more people out of poverty, created more jobs. You know, this is the core thing that liberals don't get. If you want to have jobs, you have to encourage job creators. If you discourage job creators, if you engage in class warfare, if you do what Barack Obama's been doing, you have what we currently have. This is the worst recovery in 75 years. Now, nobody in the media seems to want to come to grips with the fact that the Obama economic policy is a disaster for the poor. Look at the unemployment rate for black teenagers. Look at the unemployment rate for Latino teenagers. At what point do we hold the president accountable for a policy which is crippling the poor in America by crushing the economy under big government?
But I'm going to fix them. But hey, what is a quaint old thing where if there aren't any guns, nobody gets shot.
And if there isn't any water, no one will drown. Tell you what, you work in the guns and stop the guns.
You're right.
I work in the water so no one drowns anymore.
You're right.
I'll see you at noon.
You'll wait.
It's impossible!
If there is no water, nobody does drown.
Wow!
You're right!
Then let's ban water,
There's no sunshine,
Bridge
nobody
over
gets sunburned.
Get lost, you're weird.